Hey guys, it's Nate, Laurence, and Nicole. Officially, we're here to play ESPN's Racing Pick'em, but I just really wanted the excuse to come out to the beach in Miami. Does that seem fair enough?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Same. As soon as you said it, I was like, let's do this.
That's speechless. I get to be the homer, right? I mean, it's the American race. We're here in Miami for the inaugural Grand Prix. I'm curious about Haas. How is Haas going to do this weekend?
Well, this season has been amazing for them. So they've started this season in a way that I don't think even they were expecting. And then this weekend, it would be great to solidify that with a really good result. People have sometimes talked about them getting a podium, getting up there. Kevin's qualified that car really high at times.
Wicked fast.
But it just in the race doesn't seem to quite have it. So if things go their way, or if we get a slightly strange race, then maybe it could be top 6.
Maybe a little rain?
Maybe. And that's the interesting thing with this season. We've had one really competitive Haas, and Mick hasn't quite been there. But I think the pace is there, and this year I think Magnussen's kind of dragging his performance up. Last year he had Mazepin,
yes.
forgot his name, which wasn't the best stick for him to measure himself by, but
no.
with Magnussen I think he's got a much better one there. So.
Okay, so with Mick, does he finish in the points this weekend, yes or no?
I'm going to say he does this weekend. I think he was pretty gutted in Imola with the way that weekend went, and I think he's better than he's looked this season. I think Magnussen's making him look a bit worse than maybe he is. So yeah, why not?
Okay, so we got a yes. What about you?
I'm going to say not quite. Not quite. I think it's going to come with Mick over time, but we've got a brand new track. Remember, he's still relatively inexperienced compared to some of the drivers. So sometimes that works for a rookie or semi-rookie, second-year driver. But in this case, I think it's going to be learning quick. And the guys that have been doing it for years and years and years, you know, guys like Kevin who can just get in the car and make it work, they're the ones that are going to come out.
Okay, so you said something interesting. You said he's a lot better than what he's showing. I think that basically describes Lewis's season so far.
100%.
But they've come out this week and they said, we think we fixed our demons. We think we have the solution from Miami. How much belief do you have in that?
I have a lot of belief in Lewis. I think last week was so bad. Like, we've never seen Lewis really be that bad for this whole time he's been at Mercedes. Maybe that first year, there were a couple of exceptions, but that was the last time, really, he drove an uncompetitive car. Mercedes, it's really hard to bet against Mercedes. I know they've started the year badly, but we're so used to them being like the front runner, the team to beat, that again is why it's been so strange for them to be off the pace. So I do believe it. I think that they're gonna catch back up to where Red Bull and Ferrari are right now. The issue they've got, obviously, is that those guys aren't just hanging around and waiting for them to catch up. They're moving as well. But I think they'll be better. I think Lewis will be better. But yeah, it's getting to the point where if they keep having those kind of weekends, you're going to start to be like, well, maybe they really have lost some of that shine as the best team in F1.
You're kind of smirking. Do you believe in them, or are you like waiting for the shine to fall off?
No, I do believe in them. I do believe in them getting it right. But everything they've said is that it's not going to be a quick fix. So this could be the first step on a route back to where they should be. But it's not going to immediately put them up with Ferrari and Red Bull, from what I understand and from what I understand they're bringing.
All right,
but
so
Spain, there's going to be more. So if it's the right step now, then Spain will be another step, and then we get
All right, so pick them, because Lando started off in a situation that wasn't exactly amazing, and we've seen growth out of him and the team so far. So who finishes in a better position this weekend? Is it Lando or is it Lewis?
Such a good question. I've got to say Lewis, because I think, you know, he's still a 7-time world champion. Lando has been fantastic this year with McLaren, and the McLaren's been pretty competitive. But I think if Lewis gets over whatever it was in Imola that he just didn't like with the car, I think he'll be right back up there. The McLaren does look good, but Mercedes should be ahead of them. So yeah, I'll say Lewis. But I think it's a super close one. That was a tight pick, I have to say.
I agree on this one, mainly because Lewis had such a bad weekend in Imola. He's going to want to bounce back. He is still that 7-time world champion. He's done it again and again and again. So he's going to pull it out of the bag, I think.
We just saw him playing golf with Tom Brady today, so I think maybe some of that's going to rub off.
How is it that you can not play golf for 3 years and still have a swing that's like borderline magical?
I'm not sure
I think
Lewis
he's lying
played,
a little bit. Like, there's definitely been some practice swings in there. All right, the other driver that's sort of been at least a little bit of a surprise when you compare it to the teammate is Carlos Sainz with Ferrari, because obviously his teammate is out there winning and leading the world championship. So what is the difference between the two drivers at Ferrari?
So it seems like Carlos has struggled a bit with the pressure of all of a sudden having a car that can compete for a championship. You know, that's a big thing for both those drivers. They've never been in that position before. So here it is. You've got a car that can compete for a championship. And then the mistake in Australia was all his own. Like, he owned it as well, but he needed to bounce back. But then he made another mistake in Imola. The first one in qualifying was his own fault. The one in the race, the really costly one that saw him retire on the first lap in front of that Imola home crowd, wasn't his fault. That was Daniel's. So I think, you know, you talk to Carlos and the confidence is still there, but he knows he needs to start changing rapidly, because Ferrari are the kind of team that are going to be like, if Charles is that far ahead in the championship, we've got to get behind him, we've got to back him.
Yep,
Ferrari famously the team of team orders, right, back in the day. I think with Carlos, what you can sense is he knows the opportunity he's blowing at the moment with that car. Like, this is the best car Ferrari have had for a long time, and he's just not getting the best out of it, and his teammates leading the championship. So that starts to eat away at a driver as well. So for his sake, he needs a really strong weekend this weekend.
So does he finish in the top 5?
I think so. I really like Carlos Sainz. I think he's a great driver. Last year, he was really impressive against Leclerc. Leclerc has done the opposite. It seems like he's realised this is a car he can win the championship in and has stepped up to what we know he can do. So I think Carlos will be back up there. Whether or not he's beating Leclerc, I don't think I'd make that prediction. But definitely top 5 for Sainz, like everything goes well.
Yeah, that car's got to be in the top 5. Something bad has got to happen. I know it has in the last few races, but something bad's got to happen again for a third time. I think Carlos is better than that.
That is someone who, by the way, does have a legitimately good golf swing.
Sainz
can actually play. All right. I mean, the biggest question of the weekend is actually who walks away as the winner. And the top 2 teams this year have been Ferrari and Red Bull. Who do you like more this weekend?
So I know we disagree on this, don't we? I think Max this weekend. I think he looked great in Imola. It was one of the most perfect weekends we've seen him drive in F1. And Red Bull, they had those reliability issues, and I think they've got over them. They seem confident they're gone.
So are you confident in Max because Max, or are you confident in Max because of Red Bull?
I'm confident in Max because of Max, and I think that the car should suit the circuit a bit better than the Ferrari. And when that is the case, Max is just the guy you want in that car. He's just so good, so on it. And yeah, I got a sense from the last race that Max just kind of is in that mindset that he's like, I can do anything in this car.
Wait, hold on. I want to throw a wild card at both of you because there's only one driver who has finished in the top 5 every single race this season, and that's George Russell. So much for that car at Mercedes being completely undrivable.
Yeah.
So let's just have this conversation and say it's between Leclerc and it's between Max, and then let's throw in Russell. So who's your winner?
My winner's Leclerc. I actually disagree with this track not suiting Ferrari because this wonderful Miami weather, well, where the Ferrari's gone well, it's always been where it's hot, in Bahrain, in Australia again. So I think, the heat here, the new track layout, relatively slow speed corners, Charles is going to put it all together and win.
Well, I love the Russell wildcard. The rain here can be extreme. I think if it rains, that could be Russell's moment to step up because he has, like you say, it's been so consistent. And to win a race, you've got to be in the mix. And if it rains and you time pit stops right and stuff like that, you can be in there. So I'm not brave enough to make that pick. If it rains, I would say Russell. I think Russell could be his weekend. Okay. But my pick is Verstappen on a normal weekend. I know it's boring, but we've got to play it safe. I've got these wrong a lot this year by being
Thank you for making
risky.
the picks and not making me do it. But if you want to make the picks, you can. It's ESPN's Racing Pick'em. You do that. We're just going to hang out on the beach.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.